She used to laugh so loudly that the neighbors could hear it through the open windows. Her hands, though wrinkled, were always warm, always busy, baking pies, knitting scarves, or brushing my hair on quiet afternoons. That was the woman I had known for most of my life. But one day, things began to change, and at first we didn't think much of it. She started eating less. We thought maybe her appetite had shifted, or maybe her sense of taste had faded. She told us the food didn't taste right anymore, so we added more seasoning. Bought her favorite dishes, even tried high-protein shakes. But nothing worked. She would take a bite or two and then push the plate away. Her clothes began to hang loose. Her steps, once firm, became slow and hesitant. She didn't want to go outside anymore. "It's too cold," she'd say, even when the sun was warm. We thought she was just aging. We didn't know her body had already started preparing to say goodbye. Then she began sleeping more, but not like before. She would sleep through breakfast nap after lunch and go to bed early. The house grew quiet. Her voice, the one that used to tell long, wonderful stories, was rarely heard. One afternoon, I found her sitting by the window looking out, unmoving. "What are you thinking about, Grandma?" I asked. She just smiled softly and said, "Just remembering." I didn't know then that her memory was beginning to fade. She started forgetting names, even mine sometimes. We were confused, hurt even. But now I understand this wasn't simple forgetfulness. It was a gentle fading, a natural part of her journey. I'm Dr. Anthony, and I want to welcome you to Wellness Daily 365. On this channel, we help seniors over 60 live not just longer, but stronger, more independent lives. But part of wellness is understanding the full journey, including the final stretch. Most people think that heart failure, illness, or old age just arrives all at once. But in truth, the body often whispers its intentions long before the end. It begins with signs like unexplained weight loss, constant fatigue, and subtle changes in mood or memory. Families often dismiss these as normal aging, but they can be signs of the body preparing for rest. When my grandmother started withdrawing from conversations, when she no longer wanted visitors, we thought she was just tired. But she wasn't just tired. She was conserving energy. Her immune system was growing weaker. Simple colds would linger for weeks. A bruise on her hand took months to fade. These were not random events. These were the body's quiet way of saying, "I'm slowing down." When we saw her feet and hands were cold when she began breathing more shallowly, I wish I had known what that meant. Her heart health was fading. Her circulation was weakening. No one told us to look out for these signs. No one told us that congestive heart failure doesn't always come suddenly, but sometimes with months of small warnings. No one told us that high blood pressure, once controlled, can become unpredictable in the final year, or that heart attack symptoms in the elderly are often mistaken for fatigue or dizziness. That's why this message matters. If your loved one is sleeping more, eating less, or seems to be slipping away in small, quiet ways, don't wait. Ask questions. Offer presence. Cherish every moment. Prepare not with fear, but with love. Because when we recognize the signs, we are not helpless. We are more connected, more compassionate, and more present. At Wellness Daily 365, we believe in giving you the health tips that matter most, not just for healing, but for understanding. Please subscribe if this message speaks to your heart. Leave a comment and tell us about someone you love. Together we can create a community where no senior, no caregiver, and no goodbye has to feel unprepared. The changes were gentle at first, like a soft wind brushing against your face, easy to ignore, easy to miss. But over time, They grew louder, not in sound, but in weight. My grandmother, once so lively, began to fade into silence. She no longer joined family conversations. Her replies were short, her expressions vague. Her thoughts, once so quick and witty, began to wander. Some days she couldn't follow a simple sentence. Some days she didn't even recognize her own kitchen. Still, we said, it's just age. But it wasn't. It was her mind beginning to step away one small step at a time. Cognitive confusion, emotional withdrawal. They don't arrive like lightning. They settle in quietly. One day you see your loved one staring into space, and you think they're just tired. But they're drifting. They're beginning to disconnect from the world they once held dear. For seniors over 60, this can be a sign of something more, a decline in brain function, as the heart and lungs deliver less oxygen, less energy, and less clarity to the mind. She began to say things that didn't make sense. She called me by my uncle's name. She folded the same sweater 4 times in 1 hour. And when I asked if she remembered my birthday, she looked at me with the softest sadness in her eyes, not because she didn't care, but because she didn't know. These weren't just memory lapses. These were the body's way of letting go, of simplifying, of protecting her from the pain of remembering too much. What shocked us most was how fragile she became. A small cold turned into 2 weeks in bed. A minor fall led to weeks of fatigue. Her body, like a tired soldier, no longer fought as it once did. We didn't realize this was a weakening immune system, a sign that healing was slowing down. Repeated infections, slow recovery pressure, sores, even recurring urinary issues, they all came one after another. She wasn't just sick, she was vulnerable. Her body wasn't resisting. It was preparing. Some days her hands were icy. Her feet were pale and blue. When she breathed, we noticed her chest rise unevenly. It was shallow sometimes, with pauses that made us hold our breath in fear. We thought she had a cold. But in truth, it was heart failure, not the dramatic kind we see in movies, but the real one that comes slowly, gently, and without shouting. This was congestive heart failure, the kind that fills the lungs with fluid over time, that makes lying flat uncomfortable, that steals breath with the simplest movement. Her body had begun to redistribute its resources. Blood went only where it had to. Circulation faded from her limbs. She no longer wanted to walk, not because she didn't care, but because her muscles were starving for oxygen. Her heart health, so strong for decades, was in decline, and none of us saw it until it was too far along. Looking back, we see the full picture: weight loss, fatigue, confusion, immune weakness, changes in breathing, all leading to the same quiet truth that she was in her final chapter. But because the signs came slowly, we missed the message. There's power in awareness. When we understand what the body is trying to say, we can respond not with panic, but with peace. We can bring warm blankets instead of stress. We can hold hands instead of rushing for answers. We can help them feel if not scared. And most of all, we can give them the love they need in the time that remains. At Wellness Daily 365, we believe in education that matters, not just about high blood pressure treatment or healthy recipes, but about how to see the people we love clearly. If someone in your life is showing these signs, don't wait for emergency sirens. Start asking. Start caring. Start listening. These aren't just medical symptoms. They're whispers of a body saying, "I've done enough." When we finally understood what was happening, everything changed. We stopped pushing her to eat full meals. Instead, we gave her small bites of food she loved, slices of ripe mango, soft spoonfuls of warm porridge, little sips of tea with honey. We stopped asking her to walk more or get some sun. Instead, we brought the sunshine to her, opened the curtains wide, placed flowers beside her bed, played her favorite music quietly in the background. We stopped measuring improvement. We started measuring comfort. That was when peace returned to our home. There are real things you can do, even if you know that your loved one may not recover. Daily life doesn't have to be filled with fear. It can be filled with presence, warmth, and grace. For seniors over 60, especially those facing declining health, every small action of care can bring immense value. Start with something simple: hydration. As the body slows down, the sensation of thirst often disappears, but dehydration worsens fatigue, confusion, and heart failure symptoms. Offer water often. Try herbal teas. Use ice chips if they can't drink much. Gentle hydration is one of the most loving acts you can provide. The second key: nutrition, not for strength, but for ease. Avoid heavy meals. Instead, think in terms of healthy recipes that comfort: mashed sweet potatoes, soft fruits, cooked oats, soups rich in minerals but low in salt. Avoid hard-to-digest proteins. Reduce salt to help with high blood pressure, and choose foods that won't strain the heart. Let food be a quiet pleasure, not a task. And if appetite is gone, don't force it. Focus on presence, on warmth, on letting them feel cared for. Next, sleep and comfort. Seniors near the end of life often struggle to lie flat. It makes breathing harder. Offer pillows to help them sleep upright. A slightly reclined chair can be better than a bed. Reduce noise. Keep the room cool but cozy. A soft blanket. A photo album nearby. A quiet hand resting in theirs. These things matter more than medicine. Remember, congestive heart failure may bring fluid to the lungs. Help them sit. Wipe their lips. Breathe with them. You don't need to fix. You just need to be. One of the most important things you can offer is emotional peace. Read a favorite book aloud. Share quiet stories. Look into their eyes. When you speak, seniors may become confused or withdrawn, but they still feel your love. They still feel your hand, your voice, your presence. Sometimes the best medicine is simply not leaving them alone. You don't have to say the perfect words. Just sit. Just be. That is enough. And don't forget to care for yourself, too. Caring for someone in their final stage is a sacred role. Take breaks. Breathe. Ask for help. Let others step in. Keep your heart strong for them and for yourself. Because love does not end with death. It stays quietly in every memory, every gesture, every breath you shared. At Wellness Daily 365, our mission is not only to help seniors over 60 live longer, but to help families walk with them, with strength, awareness, and peace. We hope these health tips remind you that you are not helpless. You have the power to comfort, to soothe, to love, until the very last moment. Heart health is not just about medication or diagnosis. It is about dignity. It's about not dying in fear, but living in connection even in the end. It's about preventing suffering, understanding heart attack symptoms, and reducing blood pressure not just through treatment, but through tenderness. And when the time comes, and you will know when the most precious gift you can offer is not more time, but more love. A hand held, a soft voice, a peaceful goodbye. Thank you for staying with us through this journey. Please leave a comment below and tell us what you've learned, or share a memory of someone you love. If this video touched your heart, subscribe and help us continue our mission. We are Wellness Daily 365, and we are here to help you live well, live long, and never say goodbye unprepared.